The core of Will Anderson's game as a pass rusher is his get off and his ability to play with good lean, to get under tackles and win around the edge on a speed rip. On this first play, despite the false step of his front foot, he still gets a good jump off the football, and he's going to flash that inside hand to bait the tackle's punch, and then he's going to drop it to get this hook under the tackle. You see that good lean at the top of his rush to finish for the sack. And he's able to weaponize that ability to win around the edge on a speed rip to win back inside across the face of tackles. So on this first play, he's going to fire out of a 3-point stance to close the distance versus the tackle. And once the tackle oversets laterally, he's going to plant hard to redirect and win back inside across his face. On this next play, he gets vertical in his first step to close the distance on a quick set, and he's going to jab hard outside to win back inside on the arm over across his face. On this final play, he's going to fire off the ball, get vertical, and close the distance. In his first two steps, gives a slight stutter to jab outside on step 3 and win back inside for the pressure. And he's also able to leverage that ability to win inside, to win back outside. So in this first play, he gets vertical in his first two steps. Then he gives a violent jab inside to stop the tackle's feet and win back outside on the swim move for the sack. On this next play, he slow plays it to slowly close the distance versus the tackle to square him up. And then he gives him a violent jab inside to win back outside on that same swim move for the sack. But his most common way of winning as a pass rusher was by controlling the hands or the wrists of tackles to counter their punch. So on this first play, once again, he attacks vertically, and he's going to control the outside wrist of the tackle. He controls the outside wrist to press it up to force open the gate around the edge, and then he's going to finish. Once again, you see him play low, play with great forward lean to get this rip underneath to flatten for the pressure. On this next play, he gets vertical once again. He's going to control both wrists this time to swipe them away, wipe them away to win around the edge. And you see that lean once again to finish. Similar thing here, where he's going to control the wrist, press them up, and then get that hook underneath on this rip. And once again, I got to keep mentioning this because it's one of his most impressive abilities, how low he's able to play, but also to maintain balance, to affect the quarterback in the pocket. He does that here. So far, I've only talked about Will Anderson's strengths as a pass rusher, but at this stage in his progression, he's a much more developed and impressive run defender. So on this first play, he's on the backside of a standard inside zone. He's matched up with his tight end, but he does a great job getting vertical, and he plays with great body angle. He's always loaded and explosive in his hips. So he drives this tight end back on the backside to work down the line of scrimmage and make the stop in the run game. On the second play, Vanderbilt is trying to hit this run between the guard and the tackle in the B gap. The tackle is going to try to get his hips around to kind of seal Anderson out of this gap while the rest of the O-line down blocks, and they bring the H back through to the second level. But once again, you see that great body angle. He's bent at his hips, playing explosive, eyes in the backfield, lands inside to control his blocker, and then he's going to press him backwards to completely slam the gap closed to run him into the running back and blow this run up. On this next play, Bama in a 4-man front, 5-man box, but they're bringing the nickel defender Brian Branch late into the run fit. He becomes the C-gap player. Anderson bumps down to the B-gap, and he shows that short area quickness from pre-snap of 6-tech alignment to beat the tackle inside, dip the front shoulder, and make this stop in the run game. And on the final play, Arkansas is going to pull both the backside guard and tackle, leaving Anderson unblocked. And when you do that, plays like this happen He just fires off the ball and blows this up. Now I want to get into some of my concerns with Anderson's game. So I talked earlier about how he leverages that ability to win around the edge on his speed rep to win inside, and how he leverages that ability to thread inside to win back outside. But on this play, what's going to happen is the tackle beats him to the landmark and takes away the threat of him winning around the edge, forcing Anderson to jab inside to try to win back outside, but the tackle doesn't bite. He can't beat the hands on this double swipe attempt, and the rush completely stalls out. On this next play, once again, tackle beats him to the landmark, takes away the threat of the edge, forcing him to try to jab inside to win outside. Can't clear the hands on this arm over attempt, and the rush completely stalls and he abandons his plan. And on this final play, 9 seconds left in a tied football game. This is an obvious pass down. He doesn't get a great get off. The ball's in the quarterback's hand and he's not past the line of scrimmage. So he doesn't get a great jump. Once again, tackle beats into the landmark and he just can't win around the edge on that speed rip, and he has no counter, and he just gets pushed past the quarterback and makes no impact on this play. A core staple of great pass rushers is their ability to convert speed to power. One name that immediately comes to my mind when I think about converting speed to power is Khalil Mack, and that's a player that I've heard people compare Will Anderson to, and I just don't think it's a good fit in terms of a comp, because speed to power conversion is just not a part of Will Anderson's game. So once again, obvious rush down, 3rd and 5. He doesn't get a good jump, mediocre jump off the ball. You see Dallas Turner gets a much better jump, the opposite edge player. And then what he's going to try to do is close the distance, land inside, but he gets completely stoned and makes no impact on this play. This next play, once again, 3rd and 10, obvious rush now. He gets a mediocre jump off the ball, tries to stutter to redirect and work a 2-hand bull rush right down the middle, but the tackle just re-anchors and stonewalls him once again. The final concern I want to talk about with Anderson's game is his inconsistency as a tackler. For this season alone, he's got a 27% missed tackle percentage, and for his career, he's got an 18.5 missed tackle percentage. On this first play, he's unblocked. He's going to be one-on-one in space with Roschon Johnson, who's a good running back. But one-on-one in space, you got to make these plays. But I think his tightness in his hips shows up here, where he's not the best at breaking down in space, and we see him get his ankle snatched and just whiff on this tackle. On the second play, he does a good job once again getting vertical, getting eyes into the backfield. Then he sheds his man. He's in prime position to make this stop. But prior to contact, he drops his eyes, loses sight of his target, and just misses. Coming into the season, I had really high expectations for Will Anderson, and I viewed him as a potential all-pro level prospect. But after having watched 7 of his games this season, I've been underwhelmed. The core of his game was always his explosiveness in his first step, combined with his ability to run the arc with good lean and good ankle flexibility. But his get off this year has been mediocre compared to what it was last season. And I don't know why that's the case. I haven't seen any injury reports. He doesn't look bigger or out of shape. He looks the same physically, but the first step's just not there. And when he can't threaten the edge with his get off and his explosiveness, that is where the inconsistency and the lack of counters and the lack of speed to power conversion come into play. But despite my concerns, I still view Anderson as a high quality prospect due to his floor as a pass rusher. Because even if his first step isn't what it was last year, he has a good first step. He's got a variety of moves. He's got, in terms of his ability to counter inside, counter outside with jabs. He can control the punch of tackles, so he can still win in ways. But I don't see the high-end pass rush potential that I thought could be there. But he is a dominant, impactful player in the run game. So Coming into the season, if you would have asked me, where does he compare to last year's edge class? Hutchinson, Thibodeau, Walker, Ebiketie. I would have said he was head and shoulders a better prospect than those guys. But after what I've seen this year, I'm not so sure about that.